fabrics. So I like to share my fabrics because when you shop for quilt fabric versus collage fabric, you'll look at it totally different. And you'll think, wow, this would make a great background for whatever. So I do have some of that stuff here too. I do, and of course, you know, you have your leftovers. So I don't throw that away anymore because now I make cards, greeting cards, or journal covers. So I have some of those for ideas for you too. So with that, I'll show you some samples, kind of explain it a little bit. I can't go in too deep to it because it's just too hard without doing a class. Okay, but I'll give you the basics, and if you have questions, just ask me. Can I have somebody help me? Let's start here. Do I need to stay standing here?
No, I'll stand here. Wrong.
So these are what's called the teeny tiny patterns. And they're 16 by 20 on canvas. But when my grandson, who was 7 at the time, saw the turtle, he wanted me to make him a turtle. So I got the pattern, and there's 3 designs in the pattern. So he looked at it, it was the turtle, the octopus, and the mermaid in a jar. And he said, Grandma, you could make a whole ocean. Had an aquarium in his room. So I decided to do 2 of them on one fabric. And I don't always do my backgrounds in multiple pieces because sometimes you find the perfect fabric and it's perfect. It's perfect. So yeah, I framed it out, looked like a little aquarium, and he has it in his room and he doesn't know I have it. Otherwise, he doesn't let me take it anywhere. Yeah, 2019, I made this one, so he was 7. And then sometimes I find a panel that I like and think, the truck would work perfect on here. So you can do whatever you like to do. Okay, here's another fabric I bought that I just love because it's a border print. And I ended up doing the reindeer as a table runner. So you don't have to stick to exactly 16 by 20 pieces. A little wine, anyone? Yep. So some of her patterns are pieces and others are strips. So the preparation of the fabric is the same. It's whether you cut strips and fill in, and the angel pattern has both. This is the small, the large one is probably 5 feet tall. It's beautiful. I don't have any the large one left. And another angel. So you can do the backgrounds. You can see the difference in the backgrounds. One is all pieces, and the other one is a piece of fabric that worked. I just finished this one, the breast cancer bra. Yeah, only because I found the right, just happened upon the right bundle of fabric. So yeah, be a great one for like a benefit or, you know, auction. The guitar, she has a guitar and a piano. So for music people, great to, you know, personalize however you want to personalize it. The cat, the black cat, she has a lot of Halloween patterns. If you're into Halloween, there's a lot of the patterns. More of that same fabric. Can you tell I love this background fabric? Yeah, so the seahorse. Yeah. The bunny. You know, they all have names and I just can't remember all of the names, but
You walk on the
oh, please. Let's go this way. It's the sloth. He's upside down. If you're using steam It's made by the Warm Company. And it says on there that you can wash that. So when I was done with this one, I thought, well, probably a good one to do a test because there's a ton of flowers in there. So into the washer, into the dryer, and this is how it came out. So it's really good product. The snow globe. Yeah. These are really fun because you don't know when to quit. Sometimes you just keep going but you end up collecting all these little things. The llama. I can't remember the name either. Sorry. The reindeer, so this is the large reindeer, but this also does come in the size that I had on that table runner, which is the teeny tiny size, but this is the full size. These are all full size patterns.
Are the houses and trees all background?
Let me see on this one, I can't remember. Yeah, so these I all made down at the bottom. This happens to be a piece of fabric with them in there. So you get that dimension of it looks farther back. Which one is this? Oh, the gingerbread houses. We used to make gingerbread houses with my brothers and sisters and all the kids. For years, we made gingerbread houses with us. So when this came out, oh, I have to make that.
Le pizza,
It's kind of Dr. Seuss-y, you know.
le pizza. Le,
Oh, yeah, thank you. Usually I can tell from the back.
le,
The pin cushion, now, the tomato, if you want to call it the tomato. This one comes in lots of different sizes. This is the biggest. Then I think there's kind of a medium size. And then the teeny tiny size.
I put my earbuds in.
No.
In the same pattern?
No, for the teeny tiny, but not for the large ones.
You have to buy the right size pattern.
Right, yep. So just make sure when you're buying a pattern, if you're buying one individual like this one, this is how big it is. Some people open it up and go, oh my. You know, that's what I did. This is the truck fender that I cut wrong 4 times. It was my first one. You learn a lot. This was another fun one I did during a really cold, icky winter. Trying to think of what it's called, Birch Street. So you can make all those little houses, whatever you want to make them. You want to make them cook shops or ice cream shops or endless. Lola and Olive, the 2 pigs. Yeah, they're adorable.
Rien n'est pas italien.
And some people who make these
Very.
don't necessarily make them pink. You know, if you want to make them black and white, like a Hampshire or whatever, you can do whatever. This was another winter when I wished I was in Arizona, but I wasn't, so. Here's a clue, here's a hint if you make this one. The pieces, you're supposed to use a rotary cutter with the pinking blade. I didn't have one, but I had my grandma's pinking shears. Tell you, your hand gets sore after a while, so 5 blade. And you can make them into pillows too. So these 2 pillows are for sale. You know, you can customize them, you can be cute as a little camper pillow, you know. And the other pillow is, yeah, the truck. Sorry. So you don't have to put the small ones on a canvas. You can put them on a bag. You can put them, I want to try it on the back of the jacket, but there you go. Let's do these boards over here next. This is Noel. She's supposed to be a Christmas angel, but when I'm digging through fabrics, it's like, I think I'll make a garden angel. So she's a garden angel. I know, and this is where it's fun when you look at fabrics, like the hair on there, that particular fabric right here. These are the 16 by 20s. So they're called teeny tiny, so they're not like little, but they're 16 by 20. And you get there's 3 different designs in a pack.
The same size.
All the same size, but, and I don't remember what's with the elephant. There you go. The dress, which was really popular for a while. Let's do this bundle first, then we'll do that second one. So the dress, I happen to have 3 of them. You can make them however you want to make them. I mean, if you want to use, make a little ballerina, you can do a 4th of July, you can glue jewelry on, you can add beads, whatever you want to. Sure, you can. This is part of the Christmas patterns. There's the snowman, the reindeer, and Santa. I have Santa in there.
Santa's there, but I can't hold it.
Oh, how come? No, I'll hold.
Okay.
Can I hold it? Does that help?
Should we get it out of that?
I shouldn't have taken this job. I'll let somebody else walk it. Yeah, let's do this stack. What? So we can do with the rooster and you want to do 2, you do good.
Oh.
The rooster and the hen. I don't remember what comes with, what the 3rd one is, but if you look closely at the hen, there's no stitching on it. I taught a class of non-sewers. So you don't have to, you can. It's pretty free.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I have another rooster. Sea turtle. Sometimes I end up making more, like all of a sudden the dress, you're like, I think I must have 5. Okay. Let's do that one more than once. Frida the fox. Sure, you can if you want. Oh, I got 3 cows, I think, or 2 cows. The cows are done in strips too. So you can see the backgrounds are a little different. And Frida the fox. See, this cow has just one solid background, one piece of fabric, I mean, not solid, but one piece of fabric and background. The camper, the little camper and the flamingo. There's a large flamingo and a large camper too, and the large flamingo is really cool. The bee. And there's the large bee, so you can see the difference in the sizes. And the bear. I decided to do the bear in a little kind of up north woodsy feel, but you could make them floral or whatever. The fish, there are 2 of those. And again, you can see the difference in the backgrounds. One is made more like a salmon and the other, oh, I don't know. A trout or usually people will like to make them like a bass. Is it a bass? Is it a walleye? Is it a, whatever. Some like more realistic. Pinfishing. And a truck, 2 trucks. Let's do it again. Yeah, 2 trucks, 2 different colors, 2 different backgrounds. So generally people who are making the truck like to make it to something that very reminiscent to them of, grandpa's truck, where they have a truck. So you can make them whatever colors. Route 66 fabric that. Let's do this one, yeah. And then we'll go into. So that's the small pincushion size. So in that pattern, it's the featherweight, the pincushion, and the dress form. Those three you get. And if you go on her website, Laura Finney's website, it's Fiberworks-Heine. She has oodles and oodles of pattern, very local quilt shop, I carry them. So I love Aboriginal fabrics. And I decided I had these 3 frames. It's like I should do something with these. So I went online and found little, forgot what's on there, the lizard and the dingo and the turtle. And just created my own. There is a pattern, because of course I have that friend who says, you should. These are also 2 of my patterns, so the dragonfly and the butterfly. You'll see the words on here, and they're just printed on a computer. And I have just a simple, or on a printer, I mean, I made a Word document with them, and then printed them on an old HP printer I have. So you can do your own words or sayings or personalize something. Do you switch? No, I didn't. I put it on steam seam, so I put whatever light colored fabric right on steam seam, cut it to the size of 8.5 by 11, and run it right through your printer. So the cardinal was one of my first ones, because I love photography, and I had a picture of the cardinal. Drew out my pattern, but on the pattern, you'll notice there's winter cardinal or a summer cardinal. The cardinal's the same, your background is whatever you want to make it. You can make them a memory cardinal. Whatever you come up with, and then, of course, I love Cape Pass fabrics, and they're great for any of the birds, but the turkeys. So Kapusta is a silver lace Polish rooster. I get that right? Mouthful. When I teach in Iowa, I stay at this bed and breakfast next door, and she has chickens and roosters. And here was this rooster one day, and he was like, oh my gosh. I said, I need a picture of him. So she sent me a picture of him, and I made a collage for her. Yeah, so there's the pattern for the crazy rooster. What was the other one? The blue jay? Yeah, it's another one that I had a photo of a blue jay and a photo of a blue jay. And this is my last pattern. This is August, the Minneopa bison. I entered the weather guide calendar contest, photo contest. And he was Mr. August for, remember what year, 2021. Anyway, again, my friend, you should really make a collage. So I did. You should really make a pattern. So I did that too. But I really like the strips. It's just, you can use up so many scraps, and there's Christmas fabric in there. There's batik. There's all kinds of different fabrics in there. The photo didn't have the little sunset, but my grandson, the one who has the turtle, said, Grandma, you really need a little sunset in here.
Is he outlining something different?
He's outlined a little bit because I didn't think there was enough contrast between the green and the brown, so I did a little black. I used some Inktense pencils, and then I did a little more stitching to try to get it to pop a little more. So, oh, the moose. This is Montgomery moose, one of Laura Heine's patterns. It's also done in strips. So it's the same method as the bison and the cow and, you know, whatever else you wanna make. Yeah, the mousse is, and you'll notice if you feel free to touch any of these, but you know, this one's a lot softer because it doesn't have as many layers of, the more layers you use, the stiffer it is. And the bee is the same. Not the same, it's another pattern that's it's using the steamer seam again too. That one I went to the Sisters Quilt Show in Oregon a few years ago. And I said, okay, I cannot bring another suitcase to use just the fill fabric. So I allowed enough space in my bag to buy fat quarters. So, pardon?
You take one out.
One outfit.
Yeah, let me tell you, there was like, that's it, that's my limit of fat quarters, so. But it was enough, and it was fun because I could do the bee with it. And it was kind of like, well, I got all these when I was in Oregon, when I was at Sisters and other shops. It was fun. Let me show you a little bit about the cards. Same thing, so like these are journal covers I made, or journals. The notebooks. The front is, you know, stuff you have left with steamer seam on it. And you can make whatever you want. You know, there's camping ones, there's cooking ones, fun ones. My teenage granddaughter was at Christmas time, she said, oh my. Took a whole bunch of them along home, so. But yeah, you can make whatever you want of scraps, you know, mushroom collectors, if they want to keep track of their mushroom hunts. And then the Christmas cards, not Christmas, Thanksgiving, anything. Same thing, you just take the blank cards, make your collage.
So are you just using the steamer seam and pressing it right onto the card?
Yes, I have to think, because I have kind of a couple different steps depending how I'm doing them.
Question.
Oh, she was wondering if I was doing just the steamer seam and pressing it onto the card. And I said, you know, sometimes I do it differently depending on what I'm making. Like this is one background with different mushrooms on it and butterflies. So that's all, yeah. And then you can just press it right onto your card. You can stitch before you press it. Questions?
Are you mending yet, or go?
No, I am not.
Repeat the question.
She was wondering if I was bending at the show. I said, no. I'm not.
So you're using little scraps of stuff you have left sometimes. So would you have a way of organizing, you know, say butterflies or something?
Yeah, so, yeah, and sometimes, you know, on those cold winter nights, if you're sitting on the couch watching a movie, you can cut out a whole bunch of flowers or a whole bunch of butterflies. And I use those scrapbook, the 12-inch scrapbook containers. And that's how I keep the things with steamer seam on them. That's how I keep them organized. I'll have butterflies and bugs, words. You know, sometimes it's just backgrounds or small prints. So I kind of keep them sorted that way. Any real little ones, I'll cut into strips for using that. And those just all go in a separate. Because then when you get to making one of those, you can just kind of filter through what colors you want to pick.
At this point in time, which aspect of your creativity,
Yeah, okay, fine, I've turned it off.
at this point in time, what is your favorite way to express your creativity? Because you're showing us so many different things. Is it the collaging or the creating or the
You know,
pattern design?
that's crazy because somebody said to me, I would really like to be in your brain. And I'm like, no, you wouldn't. You know, I think I've always been like that, the creativity part of it. And sometimes it's I don't want to collage, and so I'm quilting. Or then pretty soon I'm over here doing something else. And sometimes I have 3 projects going because I do embroidery too. So it's like, Yeah, it kind of, and then, yeah. I think, then I pick up a piece of fabric and it's like, oh, this would really make a good. Whatever, so pretty soon I will.
Could you tell us about your mounting technique? How you wrap the
Yeah,
canvas?
so these are all done on 16 by 20 canvas. So it's just, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Joanne, wherever you can get your canvases. And so you end up cutting, the finished is 16 by 20. So the patterns will say you allow 1.5 inches around each side to do the wrapping. So when it's done, I just fold under 1/4 inch pressed. And then I start in the center on each side, so opposites. And then work my way to the mitered corners.
Staple gun?
Yep, little staple gun, lightweight one. And if you forget how to do mitered corners, just go on YouTube. Because I always have to look again.
Or walking the village, you can just mention that each of those fine things is quilted a bit.
Yes, so each one, and you probably couldn't see it, but if you want to look at these closer, you can. Each one is quilted differently. So in the Laura Heine pattern, her recommendations for quilting are 1/2 inch apart both ways. I can't stay in that little creative box, so, and part of it is I want to try to practice my free motion quilting. So some of this is just free motion with nothing in the background. Some have a little batting, some don't. My philosophy is there's no right or wrong. You're being creative and you can do what you want to do. You can step outside of that box, and same thing with the backgrounds. You can make them as busy as you want. You can do raw edge, you can piece. Whatever you want to do. I want to try photographs. Printing photographs on your printer and incorporating that somehow, but haven't got there. Who else has that question?
What kind of batting do you use?
I just use my leftover 80/20. And you cut it, if you cut your batting the same size as your frame. So 16 by 20, so you don't have to wrap it. You don't want to wrap your batting, it's too bulky to wrap.
I apologize if I missed something, but you mentioned something about cutting them with a zigzag scissors.
Oh, on that cactus one,
You're not cutting your regular piece, all the pieces with that? What do you think you should?
I did some of them. I don't think all of the cactuses were like that, but I think the saguaro cactus had the pieces cut. And again, I'm sure in her pattern making, it was another idea she had and shared to cut them that way instead of just straight.
So I'm not familiar with Laura Heine's technique, and maybe everybody else in the room is, but I'm not clear. Are you filling in a shape and then cutting it?
Yes. Yes. So the shapes are, the patterns are the shapes. And then you can, like that was, and you may want to look at this closer too. So these two are the ones cut with the pinking shears, whatever. But here too, I didn't just do straight lines through the cactus. I used some decorative stitching. So you can do decorative stitching, you can do variegated threads, plain threads, whatever. You could, it's kind of endless. What you want to do.
I have a question. When you buy fabric, when you walk into a fabric store, are you looking for a particular project, or do you just go in and say, oh, this would work, this would work? And
Yeah.
how much fabric do you usually buy?
I'm just kidding. I buy fabric and I have always done this. I buy fabric because I like it. And something jumped out at me. So that's kind of how I still buy fabric. unless I'm doing, even when I'm doing the quilt, if I quilt patterns. And then I go look at my stash, what I have. And usually that's what my quilt ends up being. I'm not one to like look at the front of the cover and say, that's what I want to make just like that, because it's the creativity thing again. Now, I've done this already where, wow, that's great wood. That would make a good table for a sewing machine. It would make a good tree for the owl. It would. And worst case, I can always make a quilt, right? Like black and white. So yes, sometimes whoever asked for that. You know, like here's one I would walk in and go, wow, is that different? And I would buy it. Or a yard of it.
Well, you said in Sister though that you fat forward. So
Sisters
fat
was the
forward-
one I really had yeah, because you don't need a lot in the collaging. And, you know, sometimes I'll buy a whole yard because it's cheaper that way, or if you find something on clearance, or even the quilt shops that sell their scraps in a bag. You can get a lot of scraps for $10, and sometimes they're always big enough pieces for something. So.
You go ahead and just put your steam on, you'd see a yard and it's like, oh, that's gonna be.
No.
So
No,
you do individual. little
Yep.
pieces.
yep, I really try not to put the steam on. Until I'm going to make whatever it is I'm going to make. Because I might think I might use that for a sewing machine table, but. I might not, and once you got the steam on there, you're committed, yeah.
What about all those scraps?
Those are really what I save from the leftovers, or like if you have a 2.5 inch. Piece 6 inches long left from a quilt you made, and you put that on steam, you can cut those pieces. And now you have a whole bunch, yeah. Instead of, what am I gonna do with this little strip? So. Anybody else?
I just wanted to ask you one quick question about your technique. Do you piece the background pieces like those strips you use in the background, but then do you just basically pile them on like on the moose?
No, the image, so in this case, the moose. Or the bee or any of them, they're made on what's called pattern ease. And pattern ease is just a lightweight you can use it for making patterns, but it's your base. So they're made on there, and then you either tuck your background in, or I find it easier to cut it out and then make my background. Because if you think you know what your background is going to be, probably 9 times out of 10, you're gonna end up changing your mind, because once you audition it onto there, you're like, it's not what I had up here. So that's what I find the easiest. She's also gone from, when I say she,
I
Laura
found
Heine's-
out what the problem was, Jack.
she's also gone from the patternies when she started making the large patterns. And then when she went to making the small, teeny tiny ones, she uses, and for you applicators, you would know a precision, or what's the other brand? It's on the back of her pattern. A fusing mat. Yeah, maybe it's Goddess. It's like there's silicone mats. If you're an applicator, you use one. Yeah. Yes. So, and these were good for some of them, and I say that hesitantly because my preferred method is still her original steam onto the patternies. But you just lay this over your pattern, so there's no tracing of the pattern, and then you make it on here, press it, and peel it off in one piece. Now this would work like for the pincushion, or making just that piece of it, and then you put it onto your background.
But you're saying that it's the other.
The patternies. Yeah, so the patternese is just a piece of. It's just a lightweight pellon, you can see through it. So you would lay this over your pattern. Trace it, build it on here. And then either fill your background in on here, because this is cut to the right size for the small ones. Or cut out your pin cushion. Make your background separate, glue it on.
Can you find it like a Joanne?
Yeah, they're called different names. Most quilt shops carry the patternese. Yeah, you'll find it in wherever the interfacings and those notions are. Yeah.
How is the theme different than like Helen double-sided?
Oh, I'm glad you asked me that, because when I do classes, sometimes people go to some other store and pick up something that's they think is steam-a-seam, but it's not, because steam-a-seam is real, and this comes in 12-inch, this is 12-inch, 18 and 24. And it comes in light and the regular. You can use either. I prefer the regular steam-a-seam too. It's double-sided, so there's paper on both sides, so it's sticky on both sides. And it's repositionable. It's sticky on both sides, so you press your fabric onto one side. Now you have your fabric with the steam-a-seam and paper on the other. So when you go to cut out or trace, then you can put it on. If you don't like it there, you can peel it off and move it. You can hold it up, you can work with it versus like, let's say heat and bind. You can't, it's not sticky. So you can lay it there, but you can't pick it up. I mean, everything would fall off.
And then you just press it. And
When you're done, and you press it and the glue all adheres. Yeah. Yeah, so it is a different product, but I like it. It's easier to work with. And you can just do it all raw edge. You know, it's not, none of this is applique per se. If you want to stitch around and do free motion, you can. But you don't have to, because it's not gonna go anywhere. The other thing I just want to show you quick, if you're going to work on collaging, and this is on the back of her patterns too. She recommends these Karen K. Buckley scissors, and they're, the little one is green. This is the medium, the large is purple. Great scissors, they have serrated. Yeah, very sharp tips. So when you gotta like the fussy cut sometimes. But these work great because they're really good on your hands. Yeah, the little one. Some people like to use the little one. Works good for like your projects. Any other questions?
not very.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
sorry.
Now,
You.
Do you ever, like, take a picture of like, you know, your bird that you had said and then turn it to the black and white to get your kind of dimension or colors or anything like
You know. Yeah, with the different values. I don't, but you can certainly do that. You know, you can have a photo, turn it to black and white. And you can do that while you work on these too. Take a photo, turn it to black and white. You can see your values. Yep.
of the contrast?
Yeah, yeah. And the buffalo I didn't, but I had the photo of the buffalo, so I could kind of see where it was darker and lighter. Yeah. But there are other collage quilters out there. Emily Taylor has collage quilter on Facebook. Now she prints her patterns out where you'll see this is darker here, this is lighter here, this is medium here. So that's when you get her patterns, that's what you get. So, like I said, there's all kinds of collage quilters out there that use different techniques or combination of. Anybody else?
Did you go over all the products you brought?
I think I did. Yeah.
Okay.
So I have some fabrics that I share. These are just, I guess I didn't talk about these little Teflon pressing mats. These are just great little, they're actually oven liners. So when they get a little worn out, throw them in the bottom of your oven, but they're great to protect your ironing board and your iron when you're, and they're so slick that the iron just slides right over them. So a cheap way to, they're only $4, cheap way to keep your iron clean. I do have so these are some of the Laura Hayes patterns. I don't have all of them, obviously. I do have a section of gently used ones here. And then I have some kits per se. These are not Laura Hayes certified kits. These are just mine that people sometimes just don't know where to start with fabrics. So I've put together. This happens to be the truck. So this side is what your truck would be. This side is the backgrounds. So it gives you a start. There's no pattern in here. It's just fabric. Okay. Thank you.
All right, before we go on break, there's one more other question.
You iron on the journal covers as well as the postcard stock?
They're asking if you iron on them.
Yes. So like this one, if you look, it's one piece, the background is one piece on steam machine. And then. But before you put your before you put it on steam machine, make sure you've done all your stitching and whatever. Because if you stitch onto the steam machine, it's really hard to get all that paper off the back. Because you've stitched it. So the steam machine is your last. You know, you probably wouldn't have to, you could probably sew it on. Or glue it on, I don't know. Sometimes it's easy to use the steam machine. Yeah, press it, and then I flip them over so the heat stays underneath. Your cover stays flat. So it's cool.
Any other questions for Lori before we break? And membership, just wanted everyone to know at the front table, there are membership cards to pick up. Was that so if your renewal cards, they're up at the front table where you checked in. And we'll take a 10 to 15-minute break and we'll be back for announcements. And Brenda's here.
One more thing you're gonna do during break, besides look at all these and buy some things, I want you to check out merchandise, use this break time. You can buy tickets to the show, you can buy shirts so that you're ready and prepared. A lot of us are wearing MPU items, as you can tell. But it's your very, very last chance to buy some of the donated items that were given to us last year for the quilt auction that we had too many to sell. And so your last chance to either buy something or take back something you donated. What we're gonna do after today is donate them to the church. So the recovery church members can pick up whatever they want. We've done that one other time and they really appreciated it. So do some shopping, do some looking.
Turn and look at the person next to you, and my apologies to the Zoomers, maybe you don't have a person next to you. But look at the person next to you, particularly if it's someone you've never said hello to. And I'd like you to talk, if you volunteer, show of hands, how many of you have volunteered here at MU? And a few of you maybe haven't, so have a conversation about why you volunteer. And answer a question about what happens when you volunteer. You just do that for just half a minute. Go. Okay, now I know what to think about again. First of all, I just want to say that for many of you, oh. All right, thanks, everybody. Maybe you found out in the last half minute that it's a lot of fun to volunteer at MQ, and that for many of us, MQ really became a home when we started to volunteer. And we met a couple people and we tried a different thing to volunteer for. So it's a big part of what we do. And of course, the show is a big part of that. But equally so are all of the committees and groups who help other things to happen, including the monthly programs, the membership things, the greeters at the door, the people who make sure we have treats, and the board. And we are at that time of the year where we're looking for new board members. I'm going to be talking to people about that, but if you would like to see the board job description, it's going to change a lot this year. One of the things that's happened is that over the pandemic, our volunteer rates have gone down. We're all at home. We were not volunteering. And when the pandemic ended, it was a little hard to step outdoors and say hi to people. And that's continued. So just about every organization is having trouble finding volunteers. And even more so at the board level, because what happened for the board is that as volunteers dropped away, board members said, okay, I can take that on. Okay, I can take that on. Okay, I can take that on, to the point where they are just a little tired. And they need to remember how to delegate some things down to the committees, rebuild the committees, and that's a big thing that's going to be happening this year. So you're going to see a number of emails telling you about job opportunities. You all know about Sign Up Genius. But if you are good at organizing or see something in the job description that looks appealing, you know what your skill set is. There probably is something similar to that. And with volunteering, it's all about doing what you love and finding that. So by all means, send me a note if you think, yeah, I have some volunteer time. Or send a note to Linda Wines, who is our Sign Up Genius. And she can tell you what opportunities might be there. You can sign up at Sign Up Genius and see what's there. So as always, please for volunteers, but it really is the heart of how we get to know each other here. And I'd love to have you be there helping people. Thanks.
And speaking of volunteering, I'm quilting for others. And I wanted to let you know that May 22nd, we will not be here. We're here every Wednesday But May 22nd, none of us will be here, so don't come that day. But the next week is our sew day. And that's a lot of fun to get to know people too. You can bring your sewing machines or not. You can sew, you can iron, you can cut kits. We have lots of things to get done. And so if you want to come sew with us on May 29th on a Wednesday. We were out of batting for a while. Every place was out of batting for a while. We are very well back in batting. We do go through a lot of batting, so, in fact, we cut a roll and a half last week. So there's lots of quilts to be, quilted. We can't keep up with all the tops that are coming in, which is a great problem, but now we have the batting, so we're gonna just keep cutting, and, we'd love to have domestic quilters or long arm quilters, either one. There's lots of staff back there. Sorry, there's nothing to be down today, so. Used that all up while we were waiting for batting, so that means that by the 29th, we'll have lots of quilts coming in that need binding. It's the way it works, so we'd love to have you come join us 10 to 2 on Wednesday, the May 29th.
Hi, I'm Linda Costello, and I'm here on behalf of the Minnesota Quilt Project. Two things. One, you may have heard or read that we are collecting vintage fabrics, quilt tops, whatever, to sell at our booth at the show. All those proceeds benefit Minnesota quilters. And we have a fewer than we would like this year. So if you, what we're looking for are either, vintage fabrics, scraps, quilt tops, quilts, even things like vintage handkerchiefs, and anything that's textile and old pieces of lace. People love it, and with some of the modern quilters nowadays, putting a lot of different elements into their quilts, they love to come and find, oh, I love this, little piece of lace or something. So we're taking anything like if you had a 70s quilt top, that's considered vintage now. And last year we sold several of them. So it's, vintage now is like the 70s and earlier. So if you do come across anything, you can go to, let's see, I'm trying to think, the Minnesota Quilt Project email for Carolyn. I think it's just MQP. Yes, hi Louise.
These are marked 1913.
Oh, those are wonderful, thank you. Anyway, and also if you like quilt history or vintage fabrics, we would love to have you volunteer at the booth. You don't have to know a lot. People aren't coming necessarily to get educated. They come and love to tell you the stories about their family quilts, and those are fun to listen to. So anyway, and you would be selling some of our merchandise that's already marked and ready to go. Thank you.
A few short announcements before Brenda comes up and does the show. Okay, so that was our Thursday meeting. We had Lori Adameitz. And no, that was today. Why? Christy Naranjo, from Studio Christy, and her lecture and trunk show on Scrappy Applique. Check your emails. You should have gotten an invitation if you are a member to her class that will be in September. That should have it went out yesterday, so you may or may not have seen it. But if you want to learn more about that, you will be teaching a class over Zoom in September. And this is today, so we can get by that. And July coming up on Saturday, we will have Susan Stein, who's a longtime member of MQ, and she will be doing presenting a show with lots of samples, just like today, of the work she's done over the years. And it's called Sampler Adventures. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be in person on Saturday, and we can skip this. And then I can turn it over to Brenda.
Can you just stop sharing PowerPoint and give you Zoomers all up on the
Oh,
And I want the show committee to come on up. Anybody who's on the show committee, come over here. And anybody who's on Zoom, who is on the show committee, if you can put in the chat or raise your hand so that we can spotlight you. I am making our tech team work hard here. I think I can stop it there in the oh. Oh my gosh, look how many here. So my name is Brenda Lysing. I'm the show director, and at this point, I'm kind of working full-time on the show. Normally it's part-time, but not anymore. I know we have some show committee members on Zoom. I'm just assuming, so we're trying to figure out how to stop sharing the board. So this is your show committee. Let's give them a hand. I'm gonna pass the microphone around. I did tell, they had no idea I was doing this, because I just thought of it 30 seconds ago. That's how important it is, right? So if you can tell everybody your name, what committee you're on, and something that you want everybody to know about the show, not about yourself or anything else, but what you are working on right now, a little behind the scenes thing, that kind of thing. Everybody got something in their head?
Yeah.
Laura's looking at me like, huh?
I'm Sarah Parker and I'm co-chair for the judge quilts this year. And we have a lovely collection of judge quilts coming in. It's gonna be really fun, so you have to come see them. And at this point in time, I think the big thing is that we need some help in the judging room on Monday and Tuesday to help organize and get those things going through there. And if you live in the Duluth area, it's the perfect job for you to come in and volunteer for MQ.
I'm Laura Nagel, and along with my partner, Adrian. You can do the talking. She always covers it off. We're on special exhibits, and we just met with Brenda this morning, and comparing notes, we realized that we actually have 16 special exhibits, not the 12 to 14 that each one of us thought we had. So it's going to be really exciting. There's everything from modern to contemporary to historical. AQSG, American Quilt Study Group, as well as the SACWA and Minneapolis Modern Quilt Guild and Minnesota Contemporary Quilters, and then everything in between. Carol Hanshu, one of our preeminent Minnesota quilt artists, has a new exhibit this year with audio to enhance it. So don't miss us. They're going to be in the arena.
Yes,
Right,
we decided this morning.
all right, so I know you're gonna rush to the vendors, but we'll be there for 3 days, so get back into the arena and come see us. Definitely come to the arena. Louise Summers,
Mary Bullard.
here are the goddesses of merchandising. There will be products that you haven't seen, so come see us. Especially if you want to be clothes or food or storage or whatever, or just have fun.
I met Louise Hunchu at the retreat that we just had and saw a couple of the folks at
Carol.
Oh. Oh, she's. They were.
Jason Moore, along with Shar Weyer, vendor move in and move out. Our big thing for vendors right now for me is finding a volunteer group, because the vendors love having helper bees, and I've reached out. I'm gonna have to, I think, do the phone calls to get a group who will come in and help all their stuff in. We have a lot of great vendors, some new ones, some old faves. They will be in the North Pioneer Hall. I'm also doing the learning stage, and we're taking over the special exhibit space down in Palucci. So y'all are gonna get your exercise going from quilts to vendors to the arena, all that cool stuff to Palucci for the learning stage.
This one's. Yes, Pat and I are following our orders and getting here. Put your microphone there.
You're fine.
Very, I'm good. All right. So much for that. Pat and I are the 2024 challenge co-chairs. We're the people who provided many of you.
Put it up.
There we go. Oh, I can hear myself. Good. Anyway, Pat and I are the wonderful people who provided many of you with the little packets of 2 pieces of fabric, 1 bird, a little hexagon. We had some yarn,
a little bit of an orange elastic cord, because of course everybody needs orange cord. So, and we ask you to make some, whatever, and we have 30 entries, 32, 30, at least 30. And we are dying to see what people have done. Some people have shown us, this is gonna be such a fabulous exhibit. It's been fun. And then on the other side of it, Brenda said, well, as long as you're hanging that. So we are also responsible for getting the logo exhibit. And that's even more interesting because we haven't a clue what people have been doing with it.
No rules for that challenge, so.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that later.
I'm Carolyn Davidson. I am co-chair of the non-judge exhibit along with Diane Connor. We're pretty excited to do this. We have more quilts in the non-judge last year. Brenda told me I need more help. And we have the BQ5 challenge that we're hanging, and I'm really excited to see what people have done with that.
Jan Schmidt with admissions, and Karen Root is my partner. And we encourage you to purchase tickets today for any guests that you're wanting to make sure that they come to the show, because with the ticket in hand, they're more likely to come. So thanks for all of you that have purchased admission tickets, and hope to see you at the show.
Hello, I'm Margaret Lundberg, and I have charter buses. MQ is sponsoring 3 buses. So far, Thursday's bus is the most likely to be a go, and it would leave this parking lot at 7:30, okay, and return approximately at 8:00 p.m. So it sounds like a long day, but you can sleep on the way home before you drive to your own home, okay? So think about that. It's $70 for a member and $75 for a non-member, okay?
I'm Aileen Lively. I am co-chair with Diane Rose for QFO. We're gonna be at the show. We are in the arena, so come visit us, sit down, sew a couple of blocks for us, and we hope to see you there.
I'm Jude Edley. I have the equipment duties, which is mostly moving stuff to Duluth and bringing it back. And we do need volunteers, particularly on the Sunday after. So we'll have some more information on the Sign Up Genius about volunteering. You don't have to lift heavy things, but if you have anybody young or tall that you can bring with you, we would really appreciate that. So please, volunteer to move our stuff.
Hi, I'm Lori Klinkhammer, and I am co-chair of volunteers with Randy Hagmeister, who may be on Zoom. I'm actually not sure if she is today. She often is. And all of the volunteer requests that you hear people talking about and all the ways that which you can help with the show, they are in Sign Up Genius by the works of my fingers. So if you have any questions about using Sign Up Genius or finding an opportunity for a specific date or time, you can always reach out to me at showvolunteers with an S at mq.org. No, mnquilt.org.
And then once they have signed up, what happens then? How do they start?
That's a really good point. Thank you. So when you come to the show, check in at the volunteer desk. You will find us in the Edmund Fitzgerald Hall. And yes, that song is stuck in my head now. It's there right now. You check in there before you go to your assignment. And if you need help finding your assignment, we will help you find it. We have maps.
And then I think an automatic confirmation goes out, a reminder.
A reminder email will go out 2 days in advance of your work.
I'm Kathy Simon Frank, and I'm working with Linda Hunzer on award ribbons. So this is an area, sort of one of those invisible things that you don't realize that you need volunteers to do things as little as selecting ribbons, knowing how many that you're gonna need for the prize winners for judge, non-judge, challenge, and, well, I guess non-judge. Get some special exhibit from the mayor and the president and the show director and so on. So that's what Linda and I are doing, keeping many counts on what colors of ribbons we should provide and what size they should be, and we hope you'll notice the winners when you're there.
Hi, I'm Lisa Steedy, and this is
Paulette Marini.
and we're working on youth quotes again this year. What's exciting for us is that we're up to 29, which is a lot of youth quotes this year. Yeah, and we could really use some help on Saturday, right after the show, taking the quotes down. If you have a youth quote entered and you want to get that back faster, please come and help us take the quotes down and make sure they get back to the shops that are taking them back, that are vending, and that we're ready at 5:30.
Nothing else.
Thank you.
I'm Karen Knoll. I am co-chair of advanced registration with Linda Wines, and all I have to say is we've still got some openings in classes, so please register.
And you are the ones that get the little envelopes.
Oh, yeah.
Little tiny stuff. So, all right, let's give it one more hand. Here's a couple of numbers. You heard a few numbers, and we apparently don't have any show committee members on Zoom today, so they're all in the house. A few numbers for you. We have 15 special exhibits, 162 judged quilts, which is 47 more than last year. We have 133 non-judged, which is 53 more than last year. 33 BQ challenge, 32 of the MQ challenge of the bird, 10 I'm MQRU, the logo challenge, and 29 youth. So we have more quilts. So my job this week is trying to figure out where we're gonna hang all these quilts. So it is quite the challenge to figure that out. One of the things that I want you to start spreading the word on and start thinking about is we are gonna have quilts for sale. And this is the first time we've tried this, where anybody who's exhibiting a quilt, whether it's a judge or youth or special exhibit, can have their quilt for sale. They'll be beautifully displayed. They're high quality quilts. So I want to point out two women who are going to have quilts for sale. One is Claudia Myers, who's having a special exhibit, and some of her show quilts are going to be for sale, which is just phenomenal, right? And she has on the description what ribbons they won and what shows and that kind of stuff. Paige Johnson and her crew, her team, are taking orphan tops and quilting them up in more of a modern look. And those quilts will be for sale also. So start thinking about how much money you have sitting in the bank. Because it's not gonna be cheap. So just want to let you know that because they're worth a lot of money. Let's see. Go back to this show committee. I think we covered most of it. Oh, and Leslie and Karen, just wave. How about that? They are not on the show committee, but they're like super helpers. And they have been reaching out to all the quilt guilds in the state and some fiber art groups. And we will have a lot of quilters, quilt groups there. We will also have demonstrations of weaving, spinning, hooking, rug hooking, and embroidery. So that's gonna be cool. Yeah.
Where will those displays be?
I haven't quite figured it out, but I think it's gonna be an M. Fitzgerald.
And they'll be ongoing throughout the show? or-
Just certain days.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly Friday, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's see what we've missed here. View the show committee. To volunteer, this is what the screenshot looks like. Couple ways you can get there. If you go to mmquilt.org and then look for Get Involved. And there's a link right to Sign Up Genius. There's also a link right on the show website under extra activities or how to get involved. Or you email Lori and Randy at Show Volunteers. There are so many volunteer slots that you might have to do that more sign up groups to see everything and get beyond signing up for the board and things like that. So one volunteer spot that we need help with is to be a faculty buddy. If you are one of those people that likes to rub shoulders with famous people, this is your chance. It's actually works really well if you're gonna be up there starting Tuesday. Your job is just to check base with one of our faculty members. You can just choose your faculty member. You find out when they're coming in, help them get things to their classroom if they need help. Check in with them during their first class. This could be by text. Is the microphone working? Do you need any help? That kind of stuff. We don't have a faculty committee this year, so we're spreading out all the work amongst lots of people. Okay. Guild table. This is the guilds that are signed up so far. And then we also have those fiber art groups. The meetups, this is something new we're trying, and so far we only have one meetup, which is okay. It'd be nice to have 3 at least. So if you would just like to get together with somebody else who does collage and just talk about all the different ways of doing collage, send me an email, say, hey, I want to meet in the social lounge on Friday at noon. And I'll put it on our website, I'll put it in the show guide, and we'll see who shows up. Okay, very, very informal. Okay, next one. Something weird's going on. Oh, yeah, really big, okay. So the other thing I should say, the Connect table, those guilds might be selling raffle tickets. We will also be selling raffle tickets, so I would suggest gathering a whole bunch of $1 bills or $20 bills. Actually, I would do $20 bills, okay? And if you're tech savvy enough, print out an address label, and we don't really need your address. What we need is your phone number and your email. So if you can print that out, and you can stick it right on all those tickets. And your name, that would be good, yes. Thank you. Classes, and registration. So let me give you some numbers on registration. 475 people have done advanced registration so far. Last year, 389. So we're almost 100 above last year. So that's awesome. There were only 4 classes that I had to cancel. There are a lot of classes that are full or almost full, so don't wait any longer. You can still sign up until June 1st. Start looking at your supply list so you can start gathering things. Banquet. Last year we broke our record at 200. Guess where we're at right now? 210. Not 200. Yeah, so we broke our record already, and there's still time to sign up for the banquet. Again, you go through advanced registration, or you find somebody who's already done that and just ask them to add on another ticket for you. If that's all you're gonna do. If you have questions about that, just ask me out. Okay, those are just some examples of classes that have plenty of room in there. Just a variety. We have such a variety of faculty every year. It's really fun to see what they do. Okay. What? Oh, it's a ride, okay. It's a ride. Okay, so yeah, the bus, yeah, we've got 15 people on the bus so far. We just announced that like a week ago, earlier this week. So that's really exciting. First time that MQ has tried to do that, so yeah. I think, is that it?
Make your hotel reservation.
Oh, hotel, thank you. I should look. Yeah, I wrote this. So if you are planning to stay overnight because you're not taking the bus, oh, let me say about the bus. We assume if you go up, you're gonna come back down, okay? We're not doing anything fancy this year where you go up, you stay overnight, you come back 2 days later, because we can't quite handle that, okay? So you go up and you go down. That's it. Same, yes, same day. Little husband and wife asked me via email, who was right? And the wife won. As always, right? Okay, hotel reservations, a lot of those blocks are being released this week. So if you are still thinking you're gonna stay overnight and don't have a hotel, and you wanna be in Canal Park with reduced rates, go to the show website and it'll give you those details.
We need spots during the Thursday.
Oh, the buses can hold 56 people. So we got lots of spots left. Okay. And I should say something about vendors. We have 66 vendors. We just signed up the guy from Quilt Passions, the guy from Hawaii with the beautiful Hawaiian fabric. We just signed up Arrow Furniture. Somebody else just signed up, I can't remember, but we've got just a wide variety of fabrics and yarn and now the furniture. I think almost every make of sewing machine, so start thinking about the sewing machines. Yeah, the list on the website is now updated. I added a couple more a couple nights ago.
Scissor sharpener guy there?
Scissor sharpener guy is not coming. So you had your chance last year and they should still return. Yes, question.
Another Zoomer question is, will bus be canceled if you don't have enough people?
Yes, if we don't have enough participants, I'm not paying for a bus for 3 people, so. We will make that decision around May 15th, which is coming up fast, so that's why we want people to register by May 15th. So if you're thinking of doing it, sign up now, so I don't have to make that decision. Is there another Zoom question?
Yeah.
Okay, Judy.
Well, the scissors sharpener guy will be at City Blocks,
Right.
the book co-op, I think next Saturday.
Okay.
So check with City Blocks if you forgot to bring your scissors.
Right. So the guy's name is Paul Edgerton. Truly, his name is Edgerton. And it's Edge Sharpening, and he'll be at City Blocks in South Minneapolis next Saturday.
He also repairs scissors that have gone.
Oh, yeah, he'll align them, he does pinking shears, he does everything.
And knives,
He does
yeah.
kitchen knives, oh yeah, knives. Yeah, you should see Liz walk in last year with her her kitchen knives. Yeah. Wynn, do you want to talk about your placemats? President shop?
You do not need to put a label on the back of the placemats. I do, however, want your name, when you turn it in, like, just attach it with a paper clip or whatever. And we'll pull those off, because we're gonna do a drawing for 1 or more door prizes, and I think we've gotten quite a few, so I think there's gonna be more than 1 door prize that we'll give out as a result, which will be, you know, something for going to your favorite quilt shop. We'll work out those details. But right now, if you can get them in, what's the last day to drop things off here?
I would say May 1st or June 1st.
June 1st, all right, that's it. I think that's all I need.
I have one, you asked me an earlier question, I said I was gonna answer it for everybody. So,
Yeah, I was gonna say that you can drop it off here by June 1st. If you bring them up to the show, we're trying to get them hung on Tuesday. So that works well if you're volunteering, because you'll be there.
So a question came up earlier, if you have a quilt entry, how many of you have entered a quilt? Okay, well, most of you. So all those letters are being prepped by the people that you saw up here. We're gonna mail those letters out May 10th, so Friday. And so they all arrive at the same time. And inside there will be directions on how to prepare your quilt. So a link to how to put a hanging sleeve on. You get 2 tags, one for your quilt, one for your bag. You get a quilt receipt to fill out. We will also autofill the information that you gave us about where you're gonna drop it off and where you're gonna pick it up. You also wanna have a regular label on your quilt, and there'll be some directions about that. If you already have a label on your quilt and it's in the wrong corner, don't worry about that. We don't judge you on where your labels are, okay? Does that answer anything else about quilt entries that you wanna know? And yeah.
What's the best way for transporting them as well?
Transporting them. Do we have any of those? I think we've run out of those quilt bags. We had some quilt bags that were zippered, cloth bags, and those work really nice. You want a way that it will close and not fall out. So you can use a pillowcase and just put lots of safety pins on it.
Drawstring laundry bag.
Drawstring laundry bag works well. Yeah. Plastic bags are okay, but you pile a bunch of those and they all go sliding up the table, so prefer not that, prefer cloth. Is that right? Okay. Got my expert here. Okay, I think that's it for the show. Oh, except this, we have one We need an AccuQuilt Go for one of our classes and we can't find anybody.
I have one, but I don't know they'll have the right.
Dies. Brandy can bring the dies. Okay, can you talk to Liz? Okay, Mary, can you talk to Liz? Because Liz is in charge of that. Oh, Leslie, you talk to her too. Oh my gosh, we were trying all the quilt shops in Duluth. We tried the manufacturer and they all said no. And here we got 3 yeses. Okay, we just had to ask our members. Okay. Any other things about the quilt show? Yes.
In reading the letter that's gonna go out, it says that you can put your quilts on June 1st at the quilt shop. But on the west, I'm just telling you what the letter says.
Okay.
I'm sorry, not pick up, but you can
Drop
drop
off.
off quilts at the quilt shop on June 1st. But the website says June 31st. So I don't know if it's the letter.
Oh, May 31st?
Sorry.
With your mind.
Yeah, so if you're dropping off at a quilt shop, we put in there June 1st because some of them are open on Saturdays. And so it is okay to drop off on June 1st, Saturday at those quilt shops, because we'll be picking them up after that. So imagine if you're dropping off your quilts, somehow we still have to get those to the show. So there's a whole nother thing that happens behind the scenes with the quilts. We pick them up, we get them on the truck, we sort them, all sorts of stuff. And that's only for anything that's not judged. Judged has to be dropped off here or mailed. And we don't want them dropped off in a quilt shop for 2 times. Okay, I think that's it, other than we'll see you at the show.
It's time for show and tell, but I'm gonna try and, show and tell, let's line up, and then I was gonna try and fill the ones that were sent in for Zoom, but I'm not sure how to switch out. Yeah, I got another one already. Okay, while everybody's winding up, let me go through the show and tell. So first off, we have a quilt from Jolene Day. Okay. Too many. Okay, first up, we have a quilt from Jolene Baker. And these are the ones that came in to show and tell over email. So. Okay, I'll keep going. Next one. Oh, this is a sideways shot, and you can see the detail of the quilting she did. You can actually see she did this herself. And Karen Pence, I'm not sharing. We're gonna stop. Yeah, go up there. Karen Pence. Oh, now we're not seeing anything.
I'm here on Zoom if you want me to talk.
Yes, Karen, go right ahead.
So about a year ago, we found out we were having our first grandbaby. And so I thought, of course, I need to make a quilt, but I had never made a quilt before. So I had just watched a bunch of videos and ended up making this striped quilt, which is just a bunch of jelly roll strips sewn together. So then if you go to the next slide, basically I enjoyed doing that so much that I decided everybody in the family needed quilts for Christmas last year. So I ended up making crocagator quilts for 2 of them. And so this larger quilt here was for the kids. It's all pieced together except it's raw edge applique for the head and the tail and the feet. And then on the next slide, I made a mini crocagator quilt for the grandbaby. And these were inspired by the all wrapped up pattern that's usually a wiener dog.
Nice. And Jan Schmidt, you're here.
I am here.
You want to talk about, you've got a couple, you want to talk about it?
I made this quilt. This is a 3-yard quilt, but it's queen size. And I gave it to my nephew when I went to visit. And he lives in Wisconsin. And I brought, when I went to Wisconsin, I brought 5 quilts, queen size quilts, because I was making a wedding quilt for his son who got married last year. And I had no idea. He sent me a picture of blue fabric and a picture of a mountain scene, but he said, oh, it doesn't have to be like that. And so I was unsure exactly what he would like. And so he liked this quilt as well. But his wife did not like it. So he thought it was too bright. But so anyway, I gave it to my nephew Brock. And so I took pictures of a bunch of quilts and gave someone a choice. And anyway, I have a stand, and so anyway, this is German Shepherds that I got off of the free table. And so those were 12-inch blocks. And the next, oh, there we go. So I like to do extra long twins, and so those are 2 extra long twins. And you can just use 8-inch squares, and you know that you've got it right. That it's going to be extra long. And this one I brought today as well, and I'm giving it to my great niece, Laura, as a graduation gift. I was going to make her a chicken quilt because she raised chickens that they had. And then it was like, I think finished is better than not finished.
We have one of your school stuff here. Oh, okay. We'll go ahead. This was from Tracy Trevathan's class that was in March. And Nancy Beckham, I hope I pronounced that right. I don't know if you're online or if you're here. Because we had the Scrappy Applique program on Thursday. This is one her daughter did that was in Scrappy Applique. So I thought that would be fun. Okay, now some of you know we had that sampler quilt that Frida Nelson did, the disappearing blocks. So there's a whole bunch of them in here of people who finished theirs. So we're just gonna kind of hop through them. This is Carlin. This is Kate. Diane. Maureen, looks like Maureen did the extra blocks too. And Vicky. Rebecca, another one that did all the extra blocks. And Dorothy. Yay. And Julie came up with a design because it was a variation on number 3, and she, I guess Rita went ahead and took her design and mocked it up a couple of different ways. And I think that's it. So now we'll go to live show and tell, and we need a photographer. Okay, Brenda's gonna be our part. I'll hold you.
So Eric and I belong to a different guild who did Britta's class last year, and this is our 2. So we just thought we'd share them since you guys had done them on last week. Actually, this is Marie's, and she is offering it as a donation quilt. It will be for, name a price. It's over at merchandise, and you can bring this home with you. It's so bright and fun. So if you like it, you can buy it today, and otherwise it'll be donated to the church.
This is Manning, the Rapids. This is, just a yellow quote that I just put Minky on the back.
Really?
It's really fun. We're going. I have a good friend, Chris Campbell, that does the quilting for me. She does, turn it around and show me how pretty the Minky looks. Okay. Hard to get in. It's on top of bottom. Very long. This is a quilt that I made of my brother, yes, shirts for his wife. He passed away in 2019. And pants was a pair of pants. He didn't have a lot of fancy shirts, mostly those sun shirts because he lived in Texas. But it was a really fun. It's a variation of the chandelier quilt. Oh, yeah. Big. Beautiful. Okay. So this is a the pinwheel quilt that we saw a little bit ago. And, you know, quilts always look better in person than they do on the screen. And then I have this, I'm trying to this feathered star. I'm trying to do this feathered star, and I'm having a difficult time putting all those pieces together so they line up right. So if you have any hints or tricks, I would love to hear from you, or if you have a pattern of a feathered star, I would like that too. So anyway, looks great. Yeah, it looks great. But this was a quilt. This came with this was from a J.C. Penney catalog quilt, and she has worn it out to death. And so women made quilts for J.C. Penney, and they did 2 pillow shams and the quilt, all hand quilted. And so it was like, and she bought it in the 90s sometime. But I'm sure they weren't paid for very well for their time, but yeah, anyway, I'm trying to duplicate it for her, and it's a real challenge. So if you have any hints, I would love to hear them. Thanks. Yeah.
I'm Lori Stone, and as many of you know, I vote the in-city retreats. And this is what I accomplished at our last one now, a couple weeks ago. They're pot holders. Well, you can use them as pot holders, or you can use them as a little candle holder, or whatever you want to do. This particular one, I picked up that fabric at one of our free tables here, and it was just enough to make one pair. So it's just different.
Is it your pattern?
Well, it's a pattern I got at a quilt show several years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just, you use 8 hexagons. And follow the rules, put them together, and it works.
That's easy. That's what we like.
Well, and I trick myself sometimes, it's like, okay, what did I do wrong here? So I'm working out, but. Anyway, that's it.
There's a comment from someone on Zoom about feathered star.
Okay.
Says, threaded quilting studio has a great foundation piece, feathered star pattern online. Jen, did you hear that? Threadedquilting.com has a great feathered star foundation piece pattern online.
Okay.
Can they hear that on Zoom? I don't know. It's on.
Yes, you can see it.
Beautiful.
Okay, I'm Colette Marini, and this quilt is a row by row. When we used to do that shop hop called row by row, this was 2016. I started this for my grandson for his graduation. And I didn't like the eagles that they had up in the sky, and it didn't get done. Well, his sister is graduating 6 years later, going to Texas, so I thought I better get his quilt done before his sister gets her gift. So it is going to the quilters after we leave here, and then it's gonna be bound, and we will get it at the end of May.
Wow.
This is I'm Laura Nagel. This was a shop sample for Twin Cities Quilting. It's supposed to be a winter line. I beg to differ because orange cardinals don't exactly tell me winter. But the colors are really pleasing, and I think it's kind of gets me into spring. We're done with winter, but yeah, there's still some snow on the ground. Interestingly enough, when I got the kit to make it, there's no direction in the fact that all of your fabrics are directional, and you'll have to pay attention to what way they're going. So that added a little bit to the construction. But Faye Hoach, the owner of Twin Cities Quilting, did the quilting, and sometimes I like some of the backs just as well, And I'm looking at this, and I have scraps of this, and then I looked at all the collage, and I went, oh, there's these little houses I'm going to need. So I like it. They're nice soft colors, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with all the shop samples. And I have this vest, so a little promo going on here. I got this, no, I did not make it, but it is collage, at the last MQ garage sale. And I figured, well, number one, the price was right. And number two, this is probably the only place I can actually wear it and not get laughed out of the room. Wanted to let you know that MQ is planning on having another garage sale. They're going to do it in the fall. So over the summer, kind of, be thinking about, oh yeah, I don't need this. I don't, and put it aside because they're going to do something the second weekend in October. So it won't be a Saturday meeting. It'll be the following Saturday, but they are looking for people to be on the committee. And the more people on the committee, as with anything else, the easier it is, because you just get assigned either a table of, you do the magazines or you do the kits or whatever, and it goes really quickly. It's very well organized, and we made a lot of money, right, Win? It was over $5,000 last time. So it's one of our best fundraisers. So please think about saving your things until October. And then please think about signing up for being on that committee. And Lori, I think Karen Brooke will be in touch with you to get that on sign up opinions right after you volunteer for this year. Thank you. Yesterday, I took a first collage class that I've ever done. Quite different from the one we've seen today. This is Kate Eckmeyer, Happy Little Villages, and it was a lot of fun, and how much I got done yesterday. So
red, white, and blue is on the floor in my sewing room. Because my sister and I are doing a red, white, and blue miniature quilt exhibit in Houston this fall. And we did blue and white 5 years ago, red and white 10 years ago. So this is their 50th anniversary. So we were accepted for an exhibit of 50 miniature red, white, and blue quilts. So I brought some more that I have just the tops done, because we only started this in January. And they wanted pictures and sizes by July. So we decided we would do the top first and get that set, and then we will quilt them, and hopefully by September. And also, Sharon Resnick's exhibit of
Threads of Time.
Threads of Time has been accepted for a special exhibit in Houston this year. So, yeah, yes, this would be a good year to go. So here are just a couple of my miniatures that I've been working on.
Turn this way. Thank you.
These were made by some of my friends. My friends and I did a large quilt like this. It was after 9/11, and we made blocks and shared them, exchanged them. And so I decided I wanted to miniaturize it for the show, and then I had my friends make blocks for it too. This is a little tiny paper clip one. And then, and the it's machine applique, and I'm working on a hand applique now. I'll get it done. And that's a good one. We can clean it up. Where did you take the class? I took it online. It was through the Austin Quilt Guild. I had suggested her for a teacher about 4 or 5 years ago, and they finally got around to it. So I felt obligated to take the class. Like I said, I have red, white, and blue all over my sewing room, so. It's another class. Yep. Okay, so if you want to go to Houston, this would be the year. You will know 2 people have exhibit.
So I signed up early because I wanted to sign on my show registration, and I was to modify it for my quilts, but it didn't work. So this is my challenge quilt, which was, I didn't find out that it didn't work until I sent the photos in, which was too late. So I'm gonna show it to you guys. Beautiful. There. It's hand painted. Most of my quilts are painted.
I'm Carol Cantu. This is one of the quilts I know you haven't seen before, and this is called Dance. This will be at the show. It's dances of the 60s. So you will, I didn't want to detail the people because I want you to see the feet. So the top one is locomotion. See if you remember any of these, if you're as old as I am. Locomotion, we have the mashed potato. We have the stroll. We have the hitchhiker. And the hand jive is at the bottom. And of course, the twist. So those are some of the 60s dances. Oh, and the top is the American Bandstand. If you were like me, you would rush home after school, turn on American Bandstand and listen or dance or whatever for an hour at least. So this will be at the show. Come and see me. Thank you.
Fantastic. I have 2 quilts I've made using EQ patterns that I still have access to. And the first one I call Catherine's monkey quilt, and you can kind of tell why. She and my husband had this interesting relationship, and they always talked about monkeys. And every time they saw each other, there was some silly conversation about monkeys.
So she asked me if I could please name her a quilt to remind her of her Uncle Danny and his four monkeys. I think the monkeys are supposed to represent my husband, not my monkeys. Her name is Catherine. She is now, I don't know, about 30 years old. I probably made this for her 10 years ago, when BQ was really kind of new. I was unable to get it into the show because I can only enter one BQ quilt, and I chose to enter the second one, which I also made for a different niece named Catherine, who is now 9 years old, and hers is her Foxy quilt. And I think this is called a BQ3 pattern. Yeah. And that one I just love. It turned out just really awesome, and the texture is wonderful. It's got a flannel back. And then the last one that I have is my little teeny tiny quilt. This is a response to another one of those project quilting prompts. And the prompt was some sort of Irish chain. Well, I am very literal. So I just did a mini Irish chain quilt, and I just love it. It's half inch square block. And it's tiny, so you know, it's not a lot of work because it's tiny, but it was really fun. Thank you.
I think we're on door prizes next.
I just need someone to know.
Door prizes. Everybody got their chickens out? Yeah. First up, we have a pin cushion and a nice wool pressing mat, perfect travel size pressing mat. And four, 7, 6, 8, 8, 4. 8, 8, 4. Did 884 leave? Okay. 890. Oh, there we go. And next up, we have pattern from Sue Nichols and Pat Holly, and some fabric. And this goes to 906. Oh. What is this? Colors of the Wind by Quilter's Treasure. 891. 891, going once, going twice. Going to pick again. Gotta be here to win. 913. Oh, Merle, all right. All right, so 3 people have a really good chance of winning this one. It is the Garden of Tranquility pattern kit with fabric. Yep. You got a pretty good chance if you put your coupon in there. 895. There you go. All right, now we're gonna do our visitors are going to give away a $25 gift certificate. And I think I have my phone set up to just generate a random number. $14. I just realized I didn't print out the list with all the food. Yeah, just kind of over 14. Julie Peterson on Zoom. You have one. Are you there still? Yeah. Speak up. Anyway, you have won a gift certificate to one of our show vendors. So you'll have to go online, go to the show vendors list, see who you want your gift certificate to. And call the office and let us know. And if you're a member. Is she chatting or anything?
Not responding, so.
Okay. Yeah, if you're not a member, Julie, if you wanna, give us your email and phone number and address. Otherwise, if you're a member, we can find it online.
Is that me?
Figure out which vendor you like against it. Well, thank you everyone for coming today. Great meeting. Thank you, Lori. Lori will be up here doing some more voting, and I hope to see everybody at the show.
Thank you. You know, I
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, she's got to practice her driving.
does she? Oh. Oh, well, Vance is 25. Oh. Matter. So she looks like she looks. Yeah. How old is she? Oh. What's her story? Oh. What did you say? Yes, stayed, I'm sure. Why don't you should get adopted out for a while? I don't know if that's something else to clean up for fans. He wouldn't bother with that. I'm not gonna get, I don't like the painkillers they gave them. Because they just make you sleep. And there's no point in living if you just sleep. I want something like, I'm